Greetings, Internet. I was surfing through different videos the other day on YouTube, and I came across this person's channel. Her name is JaclynGlenn, and she had a video entitled 7 Myths About Atheists. And one of the myths that she debunked was that atheists do not have morality. And she argued that atheists actually do have morality, and that her morality is derived from a reflection upon reason and the consequences of her actions. And this immediately made me think of Friedrich Nietzsche and his criticism of the atheist who sheds off Christian piety but yet still clings to Christian morality. And I wanted to kind of, in a fun and silly way, analyze this view and sort of put it into a sociological and historical perspective, and then maybe at the end of it, if I'm feeling up to it, I'll provide further intellectual criticism. Dang, Ricky. If life is the struggle for existence in which the fittest survive, then strength is the only virtue, and weakness the only fault. Good is that which survives, which wins. Bad is that which gives way and fails. Only the mid-Victorian cowardice of the English Darwinians and the bourgeois respectability of French positivists and German socialists could conceal the inevitableness of this conclusion. These men were brave enough to reject Christian theology, but they did not dare to be logical, to reject the moral ideas, the worship of meekness and gentleness and altruism which had grown out of that theology. They ceased to be Anglicans or Catholics or Lutherans, but they did not dare cease to be Christians. So argued Friedrich Nietzsche. And the theory of sympathetic affections, of pity, of usefulness to others as the principle of action, all the systems of socialism placed themselves unwittingly upon the common ground of these doctrines. Darwin unconsciously completed the work of the encyclopedists. They had removed the theological basis for modern morals, but they had left that morality untouched and inviolate, hanging miraculously in the air. A little breath of biology was all that was needed to clear away this remnant of imposture. Men who could think clearly soon perceived what the profoundest minds of every age had known, that in this battle we call life, what we need is not goodness, but strength. Not humility, but pride. Not altruism, but resolute intelligence. That equality and democracy are against the grain of election and survival. That not masses, but geniuses are the goal of evolution. That not justice, but power is the arbiter of all differences and all destinies. So it seemed to Friedrich Nietzsche. JaclynGlenn, Thunderf00t, Skeptor. Nietzsche would consider all of these YouTube celebrities slave-minded cowards. He would accuse them of the highest crimes of decadence, of being warriors against the very theology which provides the framework for their ethics. For they embrace, without awareness, the accepted wisdom and ethical frameworks of the democratic age, seeming oblivious to Mel Gibson levels of self-deception that equality, the value of persecuted human beings, are religious doctrines. God exists, and this God therefore decrees that you should not be selfish but love others. You should apologize for your strength, be humble of spirit, and tithe to the poor. My friends, before Christianity brought Middle Eastern values to the pagan West, the Romans saw strength and virtus, the iron might of character, the stern willingness to slit your own stomach open and rip out your guts, rather than face capture, to face down your enemies and be willing to fight to the death to have your will be done. This was ethics to the Roman world. Christianity softened the Roman world. Christianity planted the seeds of love and pity in the heart of the Western mind, that over the long span of eons has now reached its decadent fruition. Democracy, equality, sensitivity to hurt and plight, these are Judeo-Christian values. Yet now, the modern decadent atheist reclines and surveys the world, seeing superstitious adherence to Christianity as itself a culprit in violating equality, sensitivity to hurt and plight, and to democracy. This is as absurd as criticizing theism for getting in the way of prayer. Unable to face the logical conclusions that cold-hearted and vicious nature does not give even a rat's ass about women's rights, which is why I think nature conspired to make the Homo sapien male so dominant physically over them, or about racial equality, for I can see a race war among primitive cavemen with red beards against Asiatic cavemen commencing with an introduction of cool graphics and Monday night football music like a pack of chimps tearing off the testicles of males of other clans in order to render them unable to reproduce. This is as natural as testosterone itself, that delicious hormone that is responsible for just over half of all Cro-Magnon skeletons found with axe or spear wounds in them. Yes, you can be an atheist and still have morals and be nice and kind to your fellow human beings and rail and rant against inequality and homophobia and about Ku Klux Klan members pushing elderly black women down the stairs, but you certainly did not derive this ethic from reflections upon evolution or the study of the behavior of primates. Let the sociological analysis begin. I wonder what are the sociological roots for why, in this age, we love equality, democracy, pity, respect for the poor, respect for the downtrodden, all that kind of stuff. For that's not the default for human beings. That's a very new and novel idea in the history of our race. So perhaps we can maybe try to find out how we came to have these ideas. What are the sociological roots of them? Perhaps it was Germanic warrior culture. Perhaps Germanic warrior culture gave us these ideas of equality and pity and all that stuff. Maybe. So let me think about this. I had such great strength. With one hand, I crushed the giant troll's throat with an iron grip. Then I felt bad, because I had killed the troll merely because of bigotry and trollphobia. I then invited the other trolls to come powerlift with me and my family, so that we can get more familiar with one another and recognize the beauty of our diversity together. Now that I think about it, I don't think we can point to German warrior culture as the culprit for introducing the love of equality and pity and respect for the downtrodden in our culture. Perhaps it was Roman Virtus. I drew a circle in the ground around him with a stick and told him, "If you step outside of this line before giving me an answer, consider yourself at war with Rome." Unless we both want to have an honest dialogue about how we can both come to a peaceful and non-violent solution, where we can invite celebrities, chariot drivers, and brave gladiators to give speeches about the need for inclusion and understanding. I really don't think that Roman Virtus really had much pity and love of equality in it. Perhaps it was Hinduism. Perhaps indirectly Hinduism influenced us to have these ideas. I told Kali I did not want to go to war with my own cousin. I did not want to bash his head in with a big mace, because we were cool. Kali was like, "Nah, Arjuna. You were a member of the warrior class, and you would be violating the law of the universe not to walk up to your cousin and bash his head in with as much violent hate as you can possibly muster. P.S. Don't give any money to the untouchable, because they were born that way as punishment for being jerks in a past life. And if you give them $1, it will just be messing up their karma. Dang." I don't think it was Hinduism either, directly or indirectly influencing our culture to have these ideas. Obviously, Christianity has spawned the love of meekness and equality. To continue to cling to these values without the theology behind it is to embrace incoherence. To be historically unaware and have a mind so pathetic as to be easy prey for accepted wisdom sheephood. In ages past, Thunderfoot would have been the moderate Catholic who thought that the nobility could only kill fellow Christians with crossbows during certain times of the year. JaclynGlenn would be the centrist middle class, who thought that we should still bow when we see a noble, but they, the nobility, should not be the only ones eligible to participate in the government. In every age, there are men who embrace the principle of an idea, but that are not brave enough or insightful enough to see the inevitable conclusions of those ideas. Social pressure constrains their minds from peering too deeply down the path that those ideas lead. They are the ones who wait, safely, patiently on the shore, as time slowly changes accepted ethics, the ideas they half embrace gaining more dominance or fading away. They are the great intellectual compromisers. This is my challenge to them. This is Nietzsche's challenge to them. These atheist YouTubers are not leaders or visionaries. They are the ones who argue on the inside, compromising on principles, like a worker union meeting with a factory owner. Their contract allows them to get out of praising God, but they still have to love thy neighbor as thyself.